Hi guys, I'm Manny and today I'm going to be teaching you about digital and normal clocks. I hope you guys have a nice time learning about them with me. So, as you can see, I have got slides pulled up and I thought that we could talk about this together using slides because it's the easiest way to do it, and that's what I think. Maybe you think something else, but that is what I think. Clocks. We will be learning about all the things you need to know about the clocks today. Clocks. There is two kinds of clocks, guys. One of them is a digital clock and one of them is a normal clock. But for this part of the video, we're gonna be talking about both. But for the first part, we're gonna be talking about digital clocks. So let's get started. So this is how a digital clock looks like. And it looks like this, and this is how a normal clock looks like. As I said, we're going to be talking about both, but for the first part, we're going to be talking about this one, a digital clock, okay? So we're going to be talking about a digital clock, and for the first part, and we're going to be talking about a normal clock for the second part. So let's move on. First, let's learn about a digital clock, as I said. So a digital clock is a clock which doesn't have hands or has many numbers, but so it doesn't have hands like when the normal clock does, but the time on a digital clock changes by whatever the exact time is. So if the time is 4:45, then instead of having those hands up, it's just gonna say 4:45. If it's 12 o'clock, it's just gonna say 12 o'clock. All right, and this is the example for a perfect one. It just shows the exact time. You don't even know anything. You don't need to count by fives or tens or anything. And let's fill out some blank digital clocks. It's actually filled out for you guys, and I know this is weird, but it's actually filled out for you guys. And what I wanted to do was to fill out another number, another one. So what we're gonna do is that we are going to be, this is just an example to show what it's gonna look like. It's filled out a little bit. We're gonna be filling out both. So we're gonna pick out any. So let's think of a number. All right, I'm thinking of a number. And my number is going to be 45. So I'm going to go 45. Oh, no, sorry guys, it's not 45. It can't be 45 because that isn't a beginning. So remember, there's not such thing as 45. So we're not even going to think about 45. We're going to think 1 through 12. So I want to do 12. So I'm going to put 12. Why is this not working? 12. And if I want to do 36, let's do 12, 36. Perfect. We have a perfect one ready to go. Now let's get on to the presenter view again and let's move on. Now let's learn about normal clocks. So I want you guys, before we move on to the next part of it, to think about in your head of normal, think about a place in your home that you have a digital clock. It can be anywhere. So I'm going to give you a little while to think about that, okay? I'm going to give you a little while to really think about that, okay? Alright, so I'm going to give a few examples, and if you have it, you have it. Otherwise, you know what a digital clock is and a normal clock is. So a digital clock, you don't know what a normal clock is yet. You might, but you're going to be thinking in your head if you have a digital clock somewhere. I know I have a digital clock on this screen that I am on right now. I know I have a digital clock on the iPad, phone, and tablets, and so on. So now what we're going to be learning about is a normal one, a normal clock. All right, so let's move on. A normal clock is a clock which has hands and has numbers. So a digital clock does not have hands or numbers. It has numbers, but it doesn't have as many. there is a minute hand, which is a longer hand, and there is an hour hand, which is a shorter hand, and the numbers skip count by 5 in a normal clock, all the way up to 60, like the example below. It is a perfect example of a digital clock, so that counts by 5. So if you can see right here, they are given by 5. I mean, this one's not 5. It goes by 5, so it goes 5, 10, 15. This one's for 15. 20, this one's 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, and a half at 60 up there. So it goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. And 60 is also known as o'clock, which can look like this. Okay. It says it's a perfect example of a digital clock, but I want you guys to think, is it a digital clock in your head? Is it a digital clock? Is it a digital clock? No, it is not a digital clock. I also want you to be seeing some mistakes in here, if there is. So now let's fill out a normal clock. So there's 12, 6, 3, 9 is already given there, so you know the pattern. Some of you know, I'm pretty sure you do, but if you don't, you're gonna learn it today. So I start by drawing a normal clock like this by creating a circle, doing 12, 6, 3, 9 as my first few numbers, and then having a 1, 2, a 4, a 5, a 7, 8, a 10, and an 11, and this way really helps me create my clock. Alright, this hand over here is the minute hand. This hand over here is the hour hand. And that's just how it's gonna go. Now share with your partner. It says to share with your partner, but for this one I want you to go or think in your head or share to a parent or an adult or someone like a friend, or even have a teddy bear right next to you, and talk about what you learned about normal clocks today. So I'm gonna give you a little time to think about that real quick. You guys have 10 more seconds. And alright, it has been 10 seconds, and you should have thought about what you learned about today, and this could have helped you learn about it so far. So we went to the last slide, and I hope you guys learned about digital and normal clocks today with me, and make sure you like, subscribe, and share my video. Bye guys!